Here's a good question that we should all answer.
Where's all the money going? So we've spent more than Russia's typical annual military budget in Ukraine, and yet the Ukrainian military is out of ammunition again? Okay, that might be a question for Zelensky. Where's all the money going? You're on the phone with BlackRock all day. Where's all the money going?
On the phone with BlackRock.
Very rich. You can't have enough.
Yeah, so $111 billion. Okay, each billion is 1,000 million. You've got this country which got homeless people in the streets, fentanyl crisis, they can't get any help, people can't afford a fucking sandwich. They're siphoning money over to Ukraine at $111 billion. I understand you send them a tank and a rocket and a this and a that. $111 billion, what are they buying over there? Who's managing that money? Who's controlling it? Who's looking at it? And I'll tell you what they're really doing with all that money. With the BlackRock and this and so on and so forth. AI ban, that's great. All right, but before we get into all this shit, what are they doing with all the money? They're buying the world. So you can't afford it. Simple. The land, the food, the production. You'll own nothing. And it's essentially slavery. Where not only do you not, what is slavery? You don't own anything, and you yourself are owned. That's what it is. You don't own anything, you can't have anything, and you yourself are being owned by someone else. And that is a terrible fucking situation, and that's really what it is. This guy, I think he's, let's see here.
I am Big Gay Baby. My pronouns are they, them. What are yours?
We've had enough of this shit. We've realized that's fucking insane. They just want to go in the women's locker room. And this is what's really happening in Ukraine. Destroyed. It's over. What's Ukraine now? What is it going to be? Their homes, their lives, to rebuild that in a corrupt country and all fucked up? Yeah, see you in 50 years. Never going to happen. This guy quits Google because he knows the AI is coming. That's going to transform the world. This is not bad. Let's see what this is.
$14 billion to the Ukraine. For reference, the entire budget of EPA is $12 billion. The budget of CDC is $11 billion. We have 57% of Americans. We have a crisis here.
Yeah.
We have a war on the poor. 57% of Americans cannot put their hand on $1,000 if they have an emergency.
That's right. That's sad,
One quarter of Americans go.
Well, he's actually making sense. He's telling the truth, but he'll never do anything about it. I mean, you can't trust him. Nobody ever does. They get in there, they tell you a bunch of bullshit. Ocasio-Cortez pledges allegiance to the drag. Their bank accounts are full, and that's it. You're fucked. You're on your own. Motherfucker Fauci, of course, the biggest crime of the century was committed. This is Fauci's email. Right here. Terrific. We're happy to hear that our gain-of-function research funding pause has been lifted. Cheers, Peter. All right, so he was a tool to essentially unleash this virus on the world. Meanwhile, this is what Bitcoin mining looks like. All right, that's using more power than the rest of America, for fuck's sake. But that's neither here nor there. Let's see what's going on here.
Breaking news. Baltimore, bro. She have an Audi flipped over right now. An Audi. A fucking Audi. God damn. God damn, man. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? It's theater in a Matita.
All right. Oh, this is the way. This is what's going on in the real world. The fucking retards. Hold on. Oh, this is. Let's see. Let's see what's happening.
California, donde la vida no vale nada.
This is good. It's, yeah. So basically, it's just like, it looks just like that California video with Tupac. It's really turning into that. That's really what the future's going to look like. People riding around gangs, ATVs, masks, Mad Max and the Thunderdome. They kind of predicted the future on point. You scrap together an outfit from, you know what I'm saying, shoulder pads and eye patches. You get out there with some weapons and you rove around and you siphon gas from other cars and you go crazy towards the end of the civilization. Died Oh, this is the died suddenly. There's a page on Twitter called Died Suddenly. The vaccine, I mean, I can't definitively say it's the vaccine, but usually it is. It's having a lot of complications, wasn't thought out, forced to take it, take 2 doses, then a booster, then they were planning a booster every fucking year. All right? So that was the biggest scam, perpetrated in front of your eyes. And we're going to talk about, the point being is we're going to talk about who's responsible for all that. Because it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be you. Oh.
His account saying, according to a witness, the man began shouting, quote,
I want food.
I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm ready to go back to jail, and I'll hurt anyone on this train.
And then he got on the subway car and began to say a somewhat...
That's right. So $113 billion siphoned off in Ukraine, and someone has to get strangled on a subway trying to make $1 by someone else who wants food and is ready to go back to jail. Destitute. No love in the world. There's no love in the world. Say goodbye to love. No, this is good. This is who you're up against, the Chinese.
Bags, or just buy bags without recognizing the brand. I have seen myself spending dozens of hours every day making bags and sending out videos, but not many people look.
So this is what am I showing you this for? Because this is an international world. You're competing while someone is begging for food in the subway and is ready to go back to jail. She's making a handmade, ridiculous bag, and they're coming up, so they're on our ass. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Then there's this woman.
Father was murdered with remdesivir. Has anybody heard about how the hospital called me and blamed me and my mom because we weren't vaccinated and that was the reason he died? Anybody heard about how they put my dad on palliative care and they never fed him and they starved him to death? And they only gave him 1 can of Ensure in 9 days? Anybody hear about that? Anybody hear about how they put my dad in bilateral restraints, restrained him against his will, and pumped him full of remdesivir against his and his family wishes while they called me and blamed me and told me he was dying?
Okay, so look at this woman. Let's look at the picture here. They spent billions of dollars funding gain of research, released this virus some way, somehow. We still don't know how. It's obviously on purpose. Somebody planned it. Destroyed lives, forced vaccines, lied about things that do help you, medicine, healthcare, that actually does help you, prevented the actual cure for the problems, which was put old people aside, let young people go out, build the natural immunity, herd immunity. We would have been knocked out that whole virus globally in 2-3 months. Fucked all that, blew out people's lungs with, respirators, medicine that don't work, all for profit, all for money, and did this to this woman where her father was killed by the hospital with no food and garbage, and then now she's screaming.
But Jim, with words, so I want to walk.
Oh, of course, open borders with this fucking retarded piece of shit Joe Biden motherfucker. Whoever voted for him is a fucking retard.
Voted to ban men and boys from women's sports, and not one Democrat joined them.
Not one piece of shit Democrat could possibly fucking break with that fucking Klan, or else you get ostracized. No individual voting. Pieces of shit. They get paid to fuck you over, essentially.
Right now, China controls the EV supply chain. The communist
Great observation. What the fuck are you going to do about it other than give that fucking stupid ass speech? Not a fucking thing. Your friends are going to go, the words are going to go in one ear, go out the fucking other. Then the money's going to get the direct deposit in the bank account. The insider trading is going to go on, and you're not going to give a fuck anyway. So shut the fuck up. And that's the real price right there. Of all your policies, that's who's really paying for it. They don't even get a chance to have a bad time. They don't get to talk to Chat GPT or do Mid-Journey images. They're dead. Gone. Gone from the world for a war that shouldn't have gotten started. And you could blame Putin on the invasion, but they instigated him. The West, they played that game. They instigated this bloodbath. It siphoned off money. now buying out the world. You can't buy the stocks. You can't buy a home. You can't buy farmland. You can't buy shit. And it's not that somebody competed against you and bought it. They printed all the money. They stole it. You're surrounded by a den of fucking thieves. And this is where motherfuckers look like. Right here. Look at this fucking idiot.
Free fries when you get vaccinated? You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries? Why not?
You just want to, a burger?
A burger element to this?
You solved all the problems. If you don't get vaccinated, you're the problem. It can't come from China in a lab. You're being racist if you say it's from China. Boys or girls. Fucking retarded motherfuckers. How are you going to fucking... This is the period of time. Listen, you know, give up on that Democrat shit. It's over. It's over. You have a kleptocracy to begin with. They're just feeding off of you at this point in time. When I was a kid, the Republicans went to war in Iraq, and they were completely fucking retarded, and they were defending that, and that was us. This is 10 times worse. This is 10 times worse. Back then, we were concerned. The Freedom of Information Act. This, that. Are you out of your fucking mind? They want to do the carbon footprint, carbon this, carbon that. Tax you, you can't afford fucking food, you're going to get completely fucked over because of the fucking idiots voting for these scumbags. You got to give the Republicans a chance to be scumbags at this point, at least. At least they're not going to be on your ass with a bunch of stupid rules. We'd be far better off if everybody had a 6-shooter on their fucking hip. We'd weed out society. It would be a couple of bloody years. Everybody, every teacher, every doctor, every lawyer, every person, every this, everybody had their gun on them all the fucking time. Somebody would get out of line. We'd thin out the herd, and we'd all be at fucking peace. That's what you got to deal with. You got to face the fucking facts, not a burger component for a fucking vaccine. With $113 billion sent to Ukraine, that's siphoned off, that's then used to buy homes and properties that and all over the world that you'll never be able to afford while they control and molest children. That's the reality that you're living in. Wake the fuck up. Send this to your dumb fucking friends. Okay? Because they need to figure out what the fuck, what can you do? You can't buy into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least the election, Trump's claiming the election. Of course it was fucking rigged. Joe Biden had the most votes of every fucking president in the history of America. Are you fucking stupid? Or did they just buy that corrupt cocksucker, bro? He don't give a fuck about anything. They bought him they bought and paid for that motherfucker Joe Biden. Corrupt as shit, and they planted their own agents from China, from this, to undermine this country inside that administration, and the Justice Department ain't doing a fucking thing about it. They don't give a fuck. The FBI, the CIA, they're all watching this. They all know where all the Epstein is and all that other shit. It's all swept. It's all politics. It's a kleptocracy. A ruling class that's feeding off some mess out here in the world where you fend for yourself. And who is to blame? The people that let them be duped by it. The vaccine, the doctors say, top virologist, the CDC. It's all a scam. They just want to rob for money, do the bare minimum, and fool the dumb fucks that are out there that are stupid enough to believe it, which is about 70% of the population at this point in time. That's what the reality of the world you're living in, and now they're going to come with the digital ID, with the this, with the that, in every which way. So one day you wake up and you're already locked in, boxed in, before you fucking know. Now you have to. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to do this. You're forced by some nanny somewhere sipping a fucking latte telling you about some bullshit. Ruining your fucking life and your chance for your own prosperity, your own freedom, your own liberty, your own individuality. That's why the founders of this fucking nation told you keep and bear arms, because they knew one of these days they're going to come again and you're going to have to shoot them.